Speaking of the opposite of entertaining games, Bears Rams. And I'll let you start before I.
All right, Matt Nagy. I love the man as a head coach. His record speaks for itself. But he has got to give up the play calling. If you watch a Bears game, because he's supposedly known for his offensive genius, he's a horrible play caller. The offense has always been ranked in the bottom half of the league. His biggest criticism coming from the Kansas City Chiefs, who only called 6 games before they hired him on offense, is they didn't run the ball. The Chiefs had a historic collapse in the playoffs to the Titans. You know how they blew that big lead in the first half? They didn't run the ball at all in the second half. That was a criticism from Matt Nagy. They still cannot run the ball. It's horrible. You heard, we alluded to this earlier. Nick Foles was talking about how, sometimes a play comes in, and I know I don't have enough time that it's not going to work, and the play caller needs to understand, because he's not the one getting hit back there, that this isn't going to work. The offensive line is garbage. They got to get an upgrade there. It's bad. Because, this defense, what's so sad, they have a short shelf life. They've been in the top 10 for 3 years now. They're going to be a top 5 scoring defense this year. They outscored the offense in this game. The special teams and the defense had more points than our offense did. And the defense didn't look particularly good this Thursday night game, but they did enough to keep us in it. I mean, you got to give us a little help. People are calling for Mitch Trubisky again. So it's an organizational failure from the top, because this goes back to if you would have just gotten the quarterback position right, and I feel like we say this every week from the head coach, or from the Ryan Pace's standpoint, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but something's got to change, man. He cannot be calling the play. That 4th down play with Cordero Patterson was so predictable, too, because you saw him lining up in the backfield. Why are you throwing a jet sweep to him? That's horrible. And you even said it. As a linebacker, that's one of the easiest plays to cut off. When it's going to the edge. Why have to just get to the...
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of strong opinions because, I can't... I don't even care. The Bears, I don't care. I truly don't. But, watching this team and seeing the amount of talent on this roster and the fact that they are, I mean, this is there are a lot of bad teams out there. But they are down there with the Jets with the least inspiring offenses in the NFL. Looks like they run a high school scheme with a couple bad plays in there. And honestly, I mean, you look at it, and so I was watching this game, and I'm not going to get into my fantasy football life, but I needed Allen Robinson to score me some points. That's all I needed to win my game. I eventually did, thanks to the LA Rams defense, and not Allen Robinson. But I'm I'm literally watching Allen Robinson, a top 5 elite receiver, great hands, runs great routes. He can catch anything. He's a stud. And you watch the guy, and you look at this offense, and they don't play to their strengths at all. I mean, that interception in the red zone.
Oh, I know.
That was horrible. You watch Allen Robinson, he ran a half-ass slant route because he knew he wasn't getting the ball, and Nick Foles was eyeing that receiver the whole play, the stadium, the Rams, the Bears, LeBron James watching on his couch. Everyone knew who he was going to throw to, picked off. It was horrible.
Here's going to that play, too, because I got some thoughts of that. Well, one, you're throwing that ball. With Nick Foles, is he known as an athletic player?
No.
You're rolling him out of the pocket. So that's not something he does well. You're rolling to his side with your smallest receiver. And I like Mooney. I think Mooney was a good pickup. He's a burner. But you're not throwing him a fade in the end zone while you're rolling. Being double covered. So it was a bad decision. Also, your best guy in the red zone this year has been Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
He's on the sideline during that play. Cole Kmet, tight end you just picked up. You used your first draft pick of this year's draft on Cole Kmet. So you have a lot invested in him. Not on the field. Allen Robinson's on the opposite side you're rolling out to. I totally agree. That was another stupid play.
Play before that is this little flare screen to Jimmy Graham. And you got Cordero Patterson, great utility player, giving him a pitch on 4th and goal. And I truly... I don't understand. It seems like Matt Nagy's just calling plays up for the fun of it. It's and look, it's hard as people who are not super educated in the sports world. It always gets in the gray area where we're criticizing a head coach, and we truly don't, we're not in the locker room or anything like that. But it's it is so glaringly obvious that you have very good bright spots in places, and you have dark spots in other places on this offense, and yet you're just going straight through the middle, going through the motions, just calling plays willy-nilly. Hey, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. No. You look at the Packers, or you look at the Lions, even the Lions. They have Devontae Adams, Kenny Golladay. They're this is our unequivocally number 1 best receiver. Get him the football. And the Bears don't seem much interested in getting Allen Robinson the football. He caught that deep ball at the end, and you watched the route. He didn't even know he was getting the ball. He let up, but he was so wide open that Nick Foles let it fly. It's like, you got to key up on this, guys. You got to call plays that go to your players' strengths. I mean, even if you don't have a good offensive line, you got to call some counters, pulling guards, something to switch it up, because if you are going to abandon the run, you will not win football games against good teams. And that's why that's why I said last week, the Bears aren't a good team.
And you know what? I was wrong. I apologize to every man, woman, child, fish, bear, cat, dog. Sorry, Louie. They're not a good football team. No. I don't know what I expect offensively. Like they're not going to be able to win a playoff game. I think they'll sneak into the playoffs. Maybe. I don't even know. They got a tough stretch coming up. But it's not. They are not. I think
the Packers
team.
are leaps and bounds ahead of the Bears.
You know what really added insult to injury is the fact that two of the guys that got a game ball. One was a punter, and Johnny Hecker. I want to punch that man with his shit-eating grin running up the field. But he had a good game. But our punt returner Ted Ginn looked like he had no interest in catching any of those. He was like, I'm just going to let it drop so they can pin us. So special teams looked horrible there, too. And the other guy that got a game ball was Leonard Floyd, who had 2 sacks. And what do you know? We released him after the season, who was another high draft pick by Ryan Pace, and is excelling in another team. And speaking of this bad offensive line, another guy we had, Grasu, who was our center a couple years ago, he was no good. Guess where he is now? He's with the 49ers, who are averaging over 105 yards a game. So, he seems to be working over there as their center. Ugh.
Yeah, no,
disgusting.
It's
makes me sick.
I mean, you look out at this team, top to bottom. I mean, is Nick Foles great? No.
And they keep trying to scheme open this Roy Robertson Harris. Who is this guy? Why is he always getting the ball? They draw up plays for him when he just drafted a tight end and signed Jimmy Grant. Why is Harris getting so many touches? I don't understand this. Who is this guy?
Yeah, the window of contention is rapidly closing.
Yeah.
And is closing in a flurry of pitch plays and screens to undrafted rookies.
This Cairo Santos has been good.
Yeah.
I have no more kicker problems, it looks like. As they say, he's probably going to miss a game winner this week.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Well, I think that'll do it. On that note, sorry, Chicago fans.
It's a bad football weekend. I'm upset.
Yeah.
Russ didn't cook.
We lost
the Bears'
money.
offense stinks.
The Bears' offense stinks. Drew Lock played like crap.
Odell got hurt.
But he makes Baker better. All right, that'll do it for the podcast.